I posted a weight loss transformation video the other day that went viral on Facebook and on TikTok. And as usual, people are typically mind blown by the size of my waist in comparison to how it looked when I was larger. And then I always get questions like, did you have surgery? Did you have weight loss surgery, a tummy tuck, or did I take shots, or where's the loose skin at? Now, first off, you have to keep in mind that I'm somewhat, I guess you could say, hourglass figure, and I've naturally always had really big legs and a big butt. My legs have always been naturally big, or actually fat. When I say that weight blindness was a thing for me, y'all just could never truly imagine. When I first started my journey, I just kind of wanted to lose a little, like, a few pounds. I was probably about 217 pounds when I first realized that, okay, well, I'm just going to start doing some at home exercises and just try to keep, things at a minimum. As time went on, because I was recovering from my drug addiction and me and my husband, we turned to food, I began to put on more weight throughout exercising at home. For those of you that, know a little bit about my backstory, this was shortly after the time that my husband and I had got out of jail. I had a lot going on. I was facing a 12-year prison sentence, so I didn't even really know if I would be out here as of now. But to say the least, my husband and I both wound up putting on a significant amount of weight. I even made a video expressing how it just completely began to run our lives as far as intimacy went. I never had any health problems, but eventually it started affecting my husband with type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, you name it. I can talk about those things now because it's behind us. His health is it's amazing. He's lost a total of 80 pounds and I'm forever proud of him, and it's just we got our life back. But it took a lot of time and he did not jump on board when I did right away. So initially, out of spite and going against his better judgment and even being a little unsure myself and just family members and people close to me, I just picked up somewhat of, like, I guess you could say, a fascination for female bodybuilders. Throughout this phase, well, like I say, my highest weight, I had got up to 247. And eventually, after at home workouts and walking 3.5 miles, several days out of the week, wasn't getting me anywhere. I eventually joined the gym. I lifted my ass off for over a year, and honestly, I winded up gaining 12 pounds because I didn't have all of the knowledge that I have behind food choices and nutrition. I didn't have it then. So it was a lot of it was like trial and error because number one, in my mind, I the gym to me, as with many people, I equated that with weight loss. So what a lot of people I think fail to realize is that I wasn't so much as just like, oh, I hated being fat. I was tired of being fat, but I thought that heavy weightlifting was just going to solve all of my problems, just that I could eat what I wanted to eat, you know, carry on with all of my, bad eating habits and just lift weights, and that I would eventually just magically over time wind up looking the way that I do now. So after about a year and 3 months into the gym and realizing that I guess you could kind of say I was bulking up, I was just like, something's not right. So I just, continue on TikTok, mainly TikTok, YouTube occasionally, but just looking at, female bodybuilders that I looked up to, looking at how snatched they were, just engaging with their content. The more I engage with it, some of them I begin to, would come across my For You page eventually like that. Wow, okay, well, they used to be fat or they used to be overweight. So I start, delving more into their content, paying attention to the way they eat, learning what a calorie deficit was, looking into how to find my maintenance calories so I could figure out my calorie deficit, tracking my food, and just making all of these little small changes over time. Now, I tracked calories for probably 7 months before I was able to truly get the discipline to eat in a deficit to see the scale move. But here's the thing. Once I started tracking calories, I never stopped because it created awareness. When I first learned what my maintenance calories were, I think they were like 3,200, but that was because I was a lot larger. I was 247 pounds, and at the time, I love the gym so much that I was working out 7 days a week. So all of these things was, could be taken into account to why my calorie burn was so high. Even so, then knowing that my maintenance calories were 3,200, 2,800 brought me into a deficit. But a lot of the times I was tracking calories and still eating like 3,800 and 3,800, 4,000 calories a day sometimes. Then I would have a week or two that I would track calories, maybe about 3 weeks, and I would stay into a deficit and see the scale move about 3 or 4 pounds. So at least I knew that it worked. Eventually, what happened, I just got so sick of knowing that I was putting in all of that work, tracking all of my food. Only thing I was lacking was discipline with staying into a calorie deficit. I started forming strategies, in my head and just retweaking my life to make it convenient for me to stay into a calorie deficit. At the time, I was enrolled in online college. I was working at night shift, and I'm really blessed that my job as a caregiver, once my patient goes to sleep at about 8 o'clock p.m., I'm allowed to go to my room there and go to bed or do homework or whatever I had to do. So a lot of the times I would just try to finish up my homework and go to bed early. I think what really saved me from a lot of loose skin was the building process that I did. Basically, I guess to some degree it was like unknowingly, but all the building over the first year. Then when I started cutting, I had already studied it so much. I was just so obsessed with the entire process of building muscle and just female bodybuilding that I knew the ins and outs, not to lose weight too quick, to incorporate a significant amount of protein. And also, I'm the type of person, even during my, when I was on drugs, it was always a telltale sign if my family was curious to whether or not I was using drugs, because my weight has always pulled from the waist up first. And I know that's a dream for most women, but here's the thing: most of y'all could possibly be just as lucky, but you won't even give yourself a fair chance and try. And when it comes to loose skin, I have made plenty of videos showing where my loose skin is at. And while I don't like it very much, it's just not bad enough to where I ever had to consider skin removal or anything like that. And I take that back. In all honesty, if I could afford it financially and afford the time off from work and the recovery process, I probably would. Because I love y'all, I'm going to do my best to show, that's loose skin. That wasn't from me having babies. This on the back of my elbow, that's loose skin. That all of that, it came from me being stretching my stomach out from being fat. That's to why I always wear my leggings and stuff up extremely high waisted leggings in the gym, or just when I wear pants in general. I'm a mother of two. I have a 18-year-old and a 21-year-old daughter, and being pregnant with them didn't stretch my stomach out. It bounced back just fine. It was me being overweight and stretching my stomach out due to over consuming calories over the years unknowingly. Don't let loose skin and all of that silly stuff hold you back from pursuing your goals. Never know until you try, and there's just so much technology out here. Sure, you could set up payment plans, or you just never know. Don't let that hold you back from pursuing your goals with fitness and weight loss. I hear women, especially black women, say silly stuff all the time, like, oh, I'm scared I'll lose my butt and things like that. Well, lift weights, stay up on your protein, stop doing all these weird diets, learn how to eat, and realize that food is not the enemy. Food is what drives your body to do what you want it to do. Look at this. Do you think my arms were naturally like this? No, ma'am. I build muscle. You can do it for your butt, for your stomach, but your eating habits have to be in check. There is a reason that you see bodybuilders eating lean chicken, egg whites, eggs, potatoes, rice, whole single ingredient foods. I'm not saying you can never enjoy some of the fun foods or some of the foods that we like to typically, or that we just consider unhealthy or not good for you foods. There will come a time throughout your journey you're going to have to choose more so of the single ingredient foods than you are all of this other stuff. So while I can't promise you that you can just totally get off scot-free, that's just the gamble that we take when we gain weight and allow ourselves to get so big. I will tell you this: if you take on somewhat of a bodybuilder's approach to your weight loss and your fat loss phases, you can minimize all of those unwanted effects a damn good bit.